not sure why it always. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure why it always starts with me on mute. Who knows? Um, Everything has changed. Everything has moved slightly to the left, and I'm working on a couple of new projects, so everything is different now. But I really want to get back to streaming this year because I feel like last year I really wanted to stream more. It was actually on my resolution list. I don't know if you can call it a resolution list. It's things I want to do, but I suppose I'm resolute in my resolve to do them, so I suppose they count as revolution resolutions. But I tend to adopt the whatever year it is, I do that many things. Even though last year I kind of did slightly more. So last year I did um, my 25 for 25, but I split them into my shoot for the moon goals, my personal goals, and my uni based goals. And if you go on my Instagram at ShaniT8, then you'll see how far I got with those. And that this year I've decided to just do 25. So I've split 25 across my shoot for the moon, personal, and uni goals. And I think that that is better. And even though I achieved all of my uni ones, and I was only seven shy of achieving all of my personal ones, and I didn't really get to the shoot for the moon ones just because I didn't have enough time. A lot of them were to do with things I wanted to do, like game jams, which I just ran out of time just because I had to prioritize uni stuff. If you haven't been to the channel before, then I am, then just to let you know, I am in my now third year of my PhD. Exciting stuff, but it does get periodically busy. I must admit, the first year was very much, well, I feel like the real first year is the application year, and that was very busy in its own way, but also quite kind of relaxing in the sense of that while there was, a focus, something I wanted to do, I was trying to write more academically, which, throughout my PhD, I've definitely improved on bit by bit. Um, and not to say I didn't write academically at the beginning, but of course, there's always room for improvement, and it's a new level of study and a higher level of study than I've ever done before. So there was lots more for me to learn, as there always is. And that seems skewed. I'm just going to twist that. Now I should do it properly. I should put it there. And so the first year for me, I suppose year zero is that application year where you're trying to get everything done. You're writing up your proposal, you're contacting supervisors, if you do it that way. Because a PhD doesn't have to be done that way. Sorry if I am over explaining this if you already know how it works, but some PhDs are kind of like pre-written for you, and you just apply to them a little bit like a job application, with a kind of like, I would be good at this because I would be good at doing this because I have this experience. And then you have like interviews and you have to be judged, and usually those types of PhDs are funded. My PhD is not funded in that way. So why are they both red? I like when they're different colors. It makes it easier to differentiate. But anyway, um, that's yeah. And so I have to, I'm working alongside doing this and doing my PhD all at the same time. And so sometimes, something has to give. And of course, my PhD will take priority because I won't be doing that forever. Um, and I really want to give it my all and do my best and finish on time. So, yes, so streaming has had to. Sorry, I got slightly distracted because I was thinking about the dress. Um, so I had to prioritize uni stuff over PhD, uni stuff over streaming stuff. PhD had to come before streaming, so just haven't been streaming as much, which a real shame. Um, because I really do enjoy it. This is something I do because, so originally I started doing this because of the wonderful opportunities to document um, my discoveries and developments in real time. And oh, the amount of times during my PhD that I've been doing something and thought, and it's not worked, and I've been streaming it, and there's just not been able to work out why it's not working, and then found the solution, and it's been so glorious, so beautiful, and it's given me the opportunity to, when I'm working in the future, to look back at things I've already done, which is oh so useful because I often find that the things I want to do and the things that I've done, the tech industry is moving so quickly as, oh, graphics cards and RAM are just so upsetting the way that's moving. But I suppose it's upsetting in one sense, and I can see the benefits in the other sense because I think about, oh, the other day I saw that there's a laptop company that does modular laptops, which sound great. Not super, hello, Theron. Not super useful for the things that I would like to do, but super amazing just in terms of um, an opportunity to make that. I've already forgotten the number. Was it 58.9? um, make that more accessible for people because I was talking to a few of my friends about this the other day, the fact that computing is in essence a separate hobby to what you use your computer for, because I definitely talk to them about kind of computer parts and the different kind of builds that we have, and we're all using it for ever so slightly different things. So, um, of course, where the kind of like confluence is that we're all using it for gaming, which is, why we're friends and we're talking about different games we're playing, but we're all using it for different games. And there is a huge difference in playing something like Stardew Valley versus playing something like the new Monster Hunter and the requirements that that will have on your system. And the things that you will need to do. And so, as well as gaming, I also do this, and I do kind of like try and render this into animations, which, if anyone has tried to render, can take hours depending on your setup. And oh, even just upgrading the power of my machine from a gold to a platinum, oh, it just made such a world of difference in terms of how much I could render and how long that took me. Where like rendering, I think it was, like 2 minutes took me. I think it said it was going to take 6 days, and then I upgraded that and managed to do it in 6 hours, which still a long time, but oh, was such a wonderful, wonderful release and relief all at once. Um, but then thinking about depending on what you want to do and the way that hardware is becoming not as accessible, and then even software isn't super accessible because as much as I really adore this program, um, it really saddens me when I'm on the forums for people using this or their kind of like free to use, slightly simplified version called Ginny, which is great because it has lots of the garments already kind of made for you and you can adapt them kind of in the same way that I'm doing now. Kind of like I made the dress, so they would give you the dress and then you'd kind of like add cut lines and adapt it in that way, which is, great if the garment that they have fits what you want to do and the system will allow you to make the specific um, changes that you would like, which it usually does. I find I've used it a couple of times, and I have a few examples on my Lingbytes Instagram, but I do find that I should have done that as a straight line. Yeah, I'll change it in a moment. I do find that while it's great in some aspects, it does have its limitations, and if you do want to do anything a little bit more complex, it can be um, a little bit frustrating. And I've definitely kind of had that when, not for myself because I have this one. So using that one, I'm just kind of more interested in what can it do and what can't it do, rather than actually relying on it for anything. And if it were a direct replacement, I would be using that instead of this, but it's not. And I haven't been on it in a while because I know they were meant to be adding like a social element to it, which was really fascinating to me because it was I was kind of thinking kind of like Second Life IMVU meets oh, the software, the Disney Dreamlight Valley where you can do the fashion stuff, kind of like that brought together. So I thought that sounded pretty interesting, but it hasn't really materialized yet. But I'm also waiting for the Inzoi is meant to be updating so that it can add, oh, what is it called? Multiplayer mode. And that sounds pretty fascinating. I am very intrigued to see how that will be received and how that will actually function. And I really just want to see how it will work because there was a game I was playing called Life by You that was being produced by, I cannot remember if it was a small team or a like a single person, and they stopped production on that, which was really really sad because I thought it had so much potential. Um, but of course, they know their market because they're researching it, and so they've decided to pivot completely to a online um, system, which is very fascinating. And had it have come out last year, I definitely would have documented it in my research. But research has to have a cutoff point, and it's kind of nice that it has a cutoff point because there are so many wonderful um, different places that I just think, oh, I really want to research this. I really want to include that in my research, and it just you can't include it all, and you shouldn't include it all because then the scope is just too broad, and I have to have a reason for including it. I feel like I've made this type of dress 1,000 times and probably should have just used one I made earlier. Why did I remake this? Oops. It doesn't look like I do have this dress saved. I should do that after I have finished. Mhm. But yeah, I do wonder what the future is of, well, I wonder what the future is of gaming anyway, because, I like making 3D stuff. I like researching games. I like making games. Um, at the moment, I am working not so diligently on a bad interactive fiction game, which um, is an interesting challenge because I'm definitely thinking about how do I make this genuinely bad in all the senses of being bad, and what is the what is the kind of cut-off point where something is so bad that it actually becomes good again, and thus you have failed in trying to make it bad but succeeded in making something good. And that is an interesting and unique challenge all of its own. But I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. And there is a part of me that loves the idea of bad interactive fiction where my dyslexia can run rampantly wild and I can have no corrections. Ooh, whoops. Mm, yeah, just okay. Okay, this one is fine. I know this. Ah, that one. That one was the problem. Right there. So, this one was the one that I was having an issue with. Doesn't actually say why. Okay, yeah, never mind. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get back into streaming this year, but I'm also hoping to do um some web development because I was thinking about, don't need you. Is it because orange is my favorite color? Maybe. Is that a good way to judge which one to keep? Probably not. Am I going to do it anyway? Yep. I feel like I should have kept the one at the top for this one. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Where? Okay, now it might matter. Where are you? There you go. Okay. Let's delete you. Let's delete you. Okay, now this is the bit I need to work on. So I will need to create um, a new fabric. So let's go to, let's, no, I'll do that afterwards. Um, let's go to fabrics. Let's pop that in there because what I'm going to do is I'm going to um, so I want to create like a corseting effect. So I'm going to offset this as an internal line, make that 15. That's maybe too wide. Let's make it 13. Don't like that. 12. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. And now, along this, I would like. Uh, nope, that's not what I want. So I've done this in so many different ways. I've done this where, okay, I've now done this in the wrong way, but that's okay. I didn't want that. I wanted you. Because I've done this where I've created a hole and then I've added um, that's not what I wanted. I wanted 0 point. Let's try 2.5. Okay, I can only do 2. Wait, interesting. Okay, I've done this where I have created a hole and then put a button on top. I've done this where I've actually cut it out. And I find that the best method is to not convert this into a hole, but instead cut and sew it as an internal shape and make this a rigid shape. Spread it all out just so that I can select things all together. So I can just go like that and know that these are this. And then to do this and uh, cut and sew, because I find that if I try and cut and sew both together, it only does the outer circle, not the inner circle. And if I cut and sew the outer circle first, oh, I actually can't remember what the problem with that was, but there was an issue where I had to work from the inside out. Let's, there we go. Let's make this one, it's like gold. I prefer other colors. I'm just gonna make this purple for the moment. Um, I'm not going to keep it purple, but it's a good temporary color. Right, so I should be able to do those now. So now what I need to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this at 20. Right, if I make these about 20 away from each other, and nah, just do a series of 10. I think that's too many. Press OK. Yep, I thought that might be too many. So let's do 20. And how many can I do? Okay, I think 10 might be the perfect amount. So if I do that, and then I do to be 20, and I want, okay, I'm gonna have to do, okay, I thought it would let me, because it was touching, but it said no. So let's do 5 instead of 6. Okay, nope, still doesn't like that. Okay. What do you mean? It's inside. Okay, why don't you like... no, wrong way. Can I fit another one in if I do that then? Do you find this acceptable? Oh, thank goodness. All right, so no. So now I need to copy this one because I want it to be the same distance away. And yeah, I think that 10 might be too many. But let's see if I move this. how close. Yeah, I might just make them slightly closer. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be great. Right, so if I, oops, nope. I wish the increments that it moved were slightly, like just ever so a slight nudge, as like a zero point 0.5 nudge, rather than like leaping a centimeter across the page. There we go. Now, this would be much easier if I did this in a straight section and then just added these on in a straight line, just boom, 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 all the way down. But I'm not going to do that. I could, but I don't want to. So now I'm going to take these. I don't want to take that one. And how many did I need? And I'm going to paste that. And I kind of paste it directly underneath. I want, there we go. And I want 11, I think it was. Alright, so now the middle should already be attached to. Nope. What did I do wrong? Um, okay. Hmm. Oh, do I have these on the wrong side? Yes, I do. Great. Just fantastic. So these ones should be, wait. So you go over here. You go here. You are, oh, right. Because you're symmetrical. You're all on the wrong side. And then you can go here now. All right, now these aren't actually attached to anything. So the next thing I need to do is ugh. So how have you done yourself on the top one? Right, you've attached yourself like that. At least I only have to do. I thought that was my headphones dying, but that was just my headphones deciding that it was done. The time was up, and it was time to go to sleep. Oh, I've put that one the wrong way. I don't. I. It's fine. That will be my special one for where I'm to put the bow in. Okay, now I'm just going to. So if I do this way, then it should follow the same sewing route. So I should be able to just match it up with the right ones. That actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. I feel like usually this bit takes... Wait, nope. Not that way, the other way. A little bit longer. Or maybe it just feels tedious. But it is good. And I do like it. And I do like doing it. And I do like the control that I have over this. Even though, to be fair, I know that the simulation does not care for it and does not like it. But it does it. And it does its best. And what more could I really ask for? So if I take those and I increase the thickness when I find it to, let's say 3.2, and I've actually got thickness on, so yeah, now they look like little buttons. That might be too thick. Let's go for 1.3 instead. Yeah. And I think I will also, and I might regret this slightly later, but it's already on 18, so I'm just going to push it down to 14 just to get a slightly smoother circle. I might have to push it down to 10. It's a leap. I might do 12. Let's have a look. I feel like that didn't make a huge amount of difference, but I shall allow it. Right, and this one is going to be, let's put this at 2 just so I can still sort of see it, but so that I am aware that it's meant to be see-through. There we go. All right, so now the next thing that I need is I need, it was 11, wasn't it? So let's do, I've actually completely forgotten the length of the inner circle. So 4.2. Should I do it 4.2? Yeah, let's do it 4.2. Okay, so let's do 4.2 and then just do a straight line across and then have it match up. Beautiful, just beautiful. And then let's just place it here already at a slight angle. And let's make this one, actually let me copy that and make it, I'll make it temporarily that one. Okay, and I'm going to just angle that so I know which one I'm actually looking at. And then I'm going to copy and do a symmetrical pattern with sewing. I might just angle these a bit more like that. I'm going to move this. Right, so that will go there. And if I just copy that and paste there, and need another one, and another one, and another one, and just, here we go. the only difference is this one is going to be slightly longer. And there we go. I do want to add a, oh, wrong one. Let's make that, nope. Oh, wait, wrong line. Nope. Okay, I will sort this out later. But before I do, now I'm hoping that if this works the way it should work, that, oh gosh, I'm zooming in, I'm zooming out. I should only have to do one. So I'm just going to do it slightly angled, just so that it doesn't, I don't want it to be perfect. I do want them to all be ever so slightly unique. Some of them a little bit stretched, some of them a little bit squashed. So I don't want perfection. It's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, so that's a little bit stretched. Perfect. And this one will be a little bit cinched. And you will go here. Oops. A little bit stretched. A little bit cinched. Oh gosh, I've forgotten where I am. Oh, there we go. A little bit cinched. Wait. I think I've just sewn two to the same one, haven't I? Yes, I have. Okay, so you, so if you went to that one, where did it? No, you went to that one because you're on that line. I thought I missed it out. So you need to go to this one. There we go. We're back on track. Yes, this is why I remember this taking longer. It's the little intricacies of this bit. Because it took me a while, admittedly, to work out between the mirrored and the symmetrical which one was the best course of action for this. Of course, it's this one because the mirror just tried to sew it to like both sides or something. It was annoying. I remember that much. Okay, so now we've got to that. So the next thing I am going to do is going to find, oh, I need one more. I'll just take one of these and just copy it. I don't need you to be at an angle anymore. So but what you do need is you need a line down the middle. Not that line. You need that line and that line and that line. Mm. Oh, I hate the way this jumps around. Nope, still not right. There we go. Okay. So, the first thing I need to do is I need to sew. Oh, do you know what I should do? Um, I need to cut this and delete that side and then unfold. There we go. So I don't think, I don't know. Can I? No, I can't. Um, I wasn't sure whether I could use the center mirrored line as a sewing line. I can't, which makes sense. Um, kind of. So I won't. So that goes to that, and that will go to, oh, come on, that, and then that going the other way will go to that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and this, and I'm just going to freeze it, and then I'm going to let those sew into place. Oh, right. And the thing I forgot to do, which is super duper important, is actually attach this to, mm, I think this one. Wait, is that the bottom or the top? Nah, it doesn't matter, it'll be fine. We'll see. I might have to. Nope, I think it's got it. It's doing it. It's doing it. I don't want to mess with it because it seems to be untangling itself. Maybe it's just tangling itself further. All right, let's mess with it. Let's take you and just, I don't want to rotate you, I want to lift you up and out. Nah, I actually don't really like that there. No matter. One of the lovely things about doing it like this is that I can change it. There we go. Just move yourself down. Right, now, the next thing that I do really need to do is, this is too long, but I don't want to change where the sewing lines are, so I'm just going to, ooh, whoops, that's too short. There we go. I wonder if I can extend that slightly and then go from here to here and just do that and then go from here to here, take that line and do that. Enter. Why are you inside things anyway? Let's put that back to edit pattern. Let's turn this into 12 as well. Okay, that's a bit better. That is a very large bow and a really tiny ribbon. I need to edit this. There we go. Okay, ribbon. Needs to not be inside the bow. So I'm just gonna. Oh no, I've moved them inside the dress. That's might be slightly worse. Nope, wait, I think it's working it out. Oop, by goodness, I think it's got it. Nope, but almost. All right, so if I take all of you, bring you over here. There we go. A nice, beautiful, special bow. It doesn't have a knot, but that's fine. All right, so I think I will take this and this, and I'm just going to bump the thickness up to, I think 1.6 because I did 1.3 on the eyelets. Hmm? Oh, I'm also realizing that the eyelets are on the opposite sides to their correlation in the scene. So I have been sewing them upside down. Mm, I don't think it matters if I turn these around, because they'll still be the same. All right, so that is going to be it. I think I want to save this as like a corset dress that I can edit. Save as garment. Yeah. And what shall I save this as? I think just corset dress. So now I can just use it as a base like the other ones that I've made. So it should, and there it is. I probably should have saved it facing forward, but no, it doesn't matter. All right, so now I have this as a base that I can use whenever I feel like it, which is nice, nice. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm gonna leave that here for today, but I do have more things I'd like to do on this, and I want to do some kind of like layering on top and have this be a more interesting garment in the end. Well, more of an ensemble with some different fabrics and different textures. And maybe one of my classic object heads as well, but I'm not sure which one quite goes with this. I'm thinking the computer head, but I feel like I should make a new head for the new year, but we will see. But thank you for joining me. If you want to see any of my stuff, please head over to my Instagram. Please do like, subscribe, and share. And I cannot wait to be sharing more things about not my research quite yet. It's not quite in that stages. If you want to see things about my research, that will be on my ResearchGate, and uh, some stuff being published not this year, next year, which sounds crazy when you think that we're in January, but yes, not this year. Published stuff next year, published stuff, and more games. I'm really getting into um, playing modded Minecraft. I haven't made any mods. Uh, that's not a this year thing. I have other things I need to concentrate on, unfortunately, but I do hope to dabble in mods a little bit. I've also been playing modded Stardew Valley, which has been quite fun. But yeah, maybe I'll stream some of that. We'll see. But